everybody, my name is NicoD. Today I'm not gonna talk about SBCs, but I'm gonna show you how to make a RoboTrike. I'm gonna do this as simple as possible, as cheap as possible, and as quickly as possible. So everybody can join me. All the goods come from AliExpress and are altogether less than 25 euros or dollars. So it's cheap and everybody can do it. So here we go. This is what I'm going to use. A soldering iron with some solder. Two 5-volt motors and two wheels, a power bank of 5 volts with two outputs, of which at least one of 2 amps. We also need some electrical wire, a 2-channel motor driver, an Arduino Nano, and an ultrasonic sensor. Also I'm going to use some small PCBs. Also we need a wheel like this that can turn on its own for a front wheel. I forgot about this. I'm gonna start with soldering the headers on the Arduino and headers on the PCB so we can take off the Arduino. So these are the headers for the Arduino. They fit into there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put them into these spacers and I'm gonna cut them at the place where the headers end. So now I'm gonna put them into the Arduino like this, and then I'm gonna put these onto the PCB. Like so. Okay, let's check if it's good. Yeah, it's fine like this. So first I'm gonna tag the ends of the spacers with some solder. So that they stay in their place while I'm soldering the headers onto the Arduino. So that's one corner. That's two. I am using a very old soldering tip that's really wasted, so the soldering isn't going very well. That's number 3. And now the last one here. Okay, that's number 4. And now all I have to do is soldering the headers to the Arduino. And the last one. Okay, now turn it around and I'm gonna solder these pins. So that is done. So as you can see, every pin is soldered on these sides, and also the Arduino has got its headers. And now you can easily take off the Arduino. So now that is done, I am going to solder the USB connector to the motor driver. So I'm going to take 2 wires of 10 centimeters, I think, and I am going to put the black wire into the negative. There is a minus sign over there on the motor controller, and I am going to solder that. So that's the negative wire, it's good. So now I'm gonna take the yellow wire and I'm gonna put it into the positive of the motor controller. This is so that the motor controller gets power from the power bank, because the Arduino cannot give enough power for these motors. So now just solder this here. So that is done. Now I have got a positive and a negative wire onto my motor controller. Now all I have to do is to solder the USB connector onto these wires. Where is my USB connector? Here somewhere. Okay, I've got it. So the 2 ends of the USB connector are ground and V-bus. So the negative wire, the black one, I will solder to the ground, and the yellow wire I will solder to the V-bus. I don't think you can see it like this. Well, so I'll solder them. So that is done. As you see, I've got my USB connector onto my motor controller. So next thing to do is solder the wires onto the motors. I am using the longest wires I've got for this. It doesn't matter which sides you solder these wires, positive or negative, onto the motors. You can change that into the programming. So just solder 2 wires onto those 2 contacts. So that is motor 1. Now just do the same with the other motor. As you can see, I've got 2 wires on both of my motors. Now I have to solder these wires onto the motor controller. There is a sign of motor A and motor B with 2 holes. So in motor A I solder the 2 wires of one motor. Again, it doesn't matter which side you solder these wires onto. Just take a wire, a black one or a yellow one, and put it in number 1, and then do the same with the second motor. So both motors are connected to the motor driver right now. Also the USB connector is soldered onto it. So now we have to connect the motor driver to the Arduino. The wire of input 1 of the controller has to go to D5 on the Arduino Nano. This is to use my program that I written for these bots. You can use another input or outputs on the Arduino, but these have to be PWM or power width modulation. Only in this way the Arduino Nano can talk to the controller and say how fast the wheels have to spin. So I put the input 1 right next to D5 and I solder it on there, and then I bridge from that pin to the pin of the Arduino. So that's the wire of input 1 is connected to the output of D5. So that's done. You see it's bridged. So these two pins are connected. So now the second wire of the first motor, or of the input of the first motor. So this is going to input 3 or output 3 on the Arduino. So again I put it right next to the hole of D3 and I solder it. So that's the inputs for the first motor. That is done. Okay, and so it is bridged again, as you can see. Now for the second motor, the input 3 has to go to D6. So as I told, if you choose other ports, be sure to use PWM ports. You can see that on the schematics on the internet of the Arduino Nano, or if you use another microcontroller, just make sure you use PWM ports. So this is D6, and again I'll solder it, and the last port has got to go to D9. So this is the last wire on D9. So I will repeat, input 1 I put into 5, D5, input 2 into D3, input 3 into D6, and input 4 into D9. Now I am going to tape these wires together. So all the input wires together, so it's sturdy, and also the motor wires I'm gonna tape together, and also the wires for the USB. So now the last piece of the puzzle, the ultrasonic sensor. I am again going to use a spacer so you can easily take off the ultrasonic sensor if you want to build something else. So the 4 pins, I cut it. And there it goes. Okay, and now I'll solder that to the last PCB. And there. Okay. So that is done. The ultrasonic sensor is onto the PCB and you can take it off like this. So now solder the wires for the ultrasonic sensor. Again I take 4 wires, the 4 longest wires I've got, so it can reach to the Arduino. 2 yellow ones and 2 black ones. And again I'll solder them to the board and bridge the wires to the connectors of the spacer. With the last wire I had a little problem. The wire wasn't well connected. If something happens like this, don't ever panic. You can always repair something with your soldering iron. It's nothing to worry about. So I just took out the wire and made the hole again in the PCB and again connected the wire. And so that was fixed. So these wires are connected and bridged. So now what we have to do is connect these wires to the Arduino. Here on the ultrasonic sensor you can see that there is a ground on the right and a VCC on the left. So we will connect the wire on the right, this wire, to ground, and the other wire, so this one, to ground, and the one on the left goes to 5 volts. So I'll solder it. As you see, the wire of the ground of the ultrasonic is connected to the Arduino. So now we are gonna connect the VCC, that is the power. So 5 volts have to go there. So the other end, the black wire here, goes to 5 volts on the Arduino. So again I'm gonna solder it. The VCC is also connected. Now we have to connect the trigger and the echo wire. So if you look to the ultrasonic sensor, you can reach echo and trigger. So echo is next to the ground. The echo I will connect to pin 11 on the Arduino, and the trigger will be connected to pin 12. So here pin 11 and the trigger to pin 12. So the ultrasonic sensor is connected to the Arduino. Now I will tape the wires of the ultrasonic sensor so they stay together. So now this is done. All that's left is to assemble the robots and to put the code into the Arduino. But I will do this next time because the video is already 20 minutes long and I don't want to have a video of more than a half hour. So next time I will show you how to put together everything, how to assemble everything, and how to code the Arduino. Bye, thank you for watching, have a nice day.